I am ready. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So, when you finally decided to branch off and start your own firm, what was the most essential thing to do before opening the new firm? Like, how did you and your partners decide on a partnership instead of like a limited liability?
I think for our size, we were we contacted the CPA, okay, because we are not tax experts, and we contacted the CPA that we had kind of decided that we would use, and we talked with them about the tax implications and how we were going to originally set up, whether we would be an LLC, whether we'd be an S corp. And it was determined at that time, I think we were a S corp, which is I don't mark the S corp was recommended to us by the CPA, and we just kind of agreed to follow that, and then followed his lead in creating the partnership because it met the requirements of the S corp.
Okay, okay. So it's kind of like you kind of met with somebody kind of that helped you
Yeah,
figure out the
what we needed to do is we tried to agree on, everybody said, well, who do you use for taxes? Who do you trust? And we found somebody that everybody agreed we would listen to. And then we went to that person to ask tax strategy and advice and get recommendations on whether we form an LLC, S corp, partnership, and then we just followed that advice.
Okay, okay. That's cool. So like so far in my class, I have had to go out and conduct interviews to find out kind of like how the community would respond to my product and to see what potential customers I would have. Once you guys figured out that you would start, a partnership and open up the new firm, like what did you do at the start of the business to engage with potential customers to bring in new business?
One of the first things is when you start talking about a launch date, okay, you have to understand that your launch date needs to, if it's doable, I mean, if it's available, you want your launch date to try to coincide with your best advertising source, okay? So what we tried to do is we couldn't afford commercials at the time. We weren't we weren't really, billboards you can kind of start anytime,
Mm-hmm.
and websites you can start anytime. But in law, you kind of look at one of the big sources is Yellow Pages. So we tried to coincide our launch date with when the Yellow Pages would end up, not just contracting. We contracted in advance, and then basically opened the doors the month before the Yellow Pages came out and were distributed, so that hopefully, once we were up and moving, we were ready to receive calls.
Okay. So,
So you kind of, what you need to do is find out what your best advertising source is going to be,
okay.
and kind of launch with consideration as to, what's available. For ours, we determined that Yellow Pages would be a big player,
Mm-hmm.
and so we tried to coincide our launch with the distribution of the updated books with our ad in it.
That's really cool.
Yep.
I guess, so like, how would you say it's different now? Like, now that your business is kind of like taking shape, it's kind of like, it's,
We do every client that comes through the firm is tracked. Okay, so we find out one of the questions in our initial intake for any client is we try to find out what is the source of what is the contact source? Did they get to us by, client referral? Did they get to us from another attorney referral? Did they get to us through, TV ads? Did they get to us from Yellow Pages? Are they a return client? Okay. And those are kind of the 5 major sources.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now we have others. There's some, referral agencies that we have, like our website. Did they get to us through our website? Okay. And what we do is we track that annually so that we know where we should put our money into advertising. What is the best return on our advertising? And through the years, we've actually found that our own work has really, increased our clientele, whether it be return clients or referrals from existing clients.
Oh, wow.
So you'd think in the beginning, we were thinking that everything would be Yellow Pages or billboard or TV ads, right?
Yeah.
And then it kind of developed into, wow, our website seems to be generating a lot of hits. And while our website, I would say, 20 years, 25 years later, we do far less advertising in Yellow Pages. We've reduced our presence in the Yellow Page. It's still there, but it's very minor. And we find that our website and our existing clientele and referrals from